Well, good afternoon, magandang hapon, and welcome to today's episode of My PI Dream. Boy, do we have an exciting episode for you if you've been following our solar series. We have an update and upgrade in today's episode, and I think you'll find it very interesting and hopefully informative too. Anyway, let's go ahead and get today's episode started. So without further delay, let's get today's video underway. Now we got the good folks from Go Solar here today. They're going to be installing this solar panel as a third panel on the front of our house, which faces to the south. We're doing some fine tuning here. So we have two panels up there right now. They're going to put one right to the right of the two that are up there right now to try to achieve our goal of getting as close to solar independence year-round as we possibly can. Now, the front of the house is facing south. The south is the tracking of the sun during the daytime. So normally, this is where you would optimally want to put many of your panels. But because of the type of architectural roofing that we have right here, it makes it very difficult. We have a big space on the east side. We have a little bit of space on the north and the west facing side on the back of the house, but very few of our roofing tiles are good in a good situation for southerly exposure. So we're trying to optimize right now. Also, one of the other things that Go Solar is doing here today, they're upgrading our DC circuit breaker. We originally had a 125 volt DC circuit breaker installed for the batteries. And originally for the 2 or the 3 that was part of the original configuration, that's more than sufficient. But once we add the additional batteries up to a set of 5, they determined that for safety purposes they are going to upgrade it to the 200 amp circuit breaker for the additional batteries. Now, to gain access to the PVs on the front where they're going to be installing the additional PV, they're putting a safety line back here. They're making their entrance from the back area right here for ease than the strange roof design that we have on the front. So this is the best place for them to get up on there. They'll be putting the rails, climbing over to the other side, and putting the additional mounting rail that they're going to need. They had to modify it. They just did it where they cut it with a steel grinder, and they cut it so that we don't, all the extension at the end of the PV itself is equal all the way around. We'll see at the end of the installation. Now you're probably wondering, James, why are you adding another panel up to the system here? You're already at about 90%. Well, again, what we're trying to do is try to get as close to 0% dependency on our utility company as possible. Adding the additional panel back here, especially during this time of year when the sun is really at a very low incline on this side right here, will help us, especially during the winter months here, to achieve close to zero reliance on our utility company. Now let's go ahead and take a look and see. It is 4:37. The sun is pretty much down, but let's see if there's an improvement with the new panel on the front of the house. Remember now, on one side, on one string, we added a panel to the 9 that we had. So we have 10 on one side and we have 9 on the other. So we're looking here, we look on our string. String 1, we're producing 328 volts. String 2, we're producing about 367. And that's probably about right, because a panel, even though it's rated at 50 watts, it's really only going to end up producing probably right around 40 watts. And you can see we're getting more wattage from one to the other. We're producing 194 watts on that side, 256 watts on this side. Now that doesn't sound like a lot, and it's not a lot because this is the end of the day. There's no sun out there, but we are producing right now a total of 447 watts right now. Well, folks from Go Solar, they're gone. We did our testing. We did our testing down inside the basement to look for that additional 40 plus volts that we should be seeing when you add an additional panel to the string. And it's there, as you probably saw when we looked at the inverter earlier. So I'm really happy that that is working as advertised. They did a bang up job as usual, the team from Go Solar, and we'll continue to observe through the rest of the winter into the summer months. Now again, I said during the summer months, I think we'll pretty much be at a zero dependence on our utility company for electricity. During this time of year, this is when you really stress test your system, and that's when you have the shortest solar days. That's when you have all the rain and the cloudiness and things like that. And if you can survive this part of the year and get good returns on your investment, then the rest of the year is going to be a piece of cake. Well, one thing, if you got nothing out of all of this, is to make sure when you add all your solar panels up, and if you're doing it in a serial string into your inverter, that you do not exceed whatever the minimum and maximum rating is of your inverter. Our inverter is 175 to 500 volts, and right now we're pushing, I think when we looked at it down there, we're pushing about 420 volts or something like that. And we'll check it again tomorrow and the next day and the next day as we have more sun. But I think we're really good. I think we're right at the sweet spot where we want to be on all the equipment, the batteries, the inverter size, the amount of panels that we have. I think we're good to go. Again, well, I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and if we do any other changes to the system, we'll definitely bring you up to date with where we're at. But I don't think we're going to be doing too much on the solar. We have some other exciting projects here around Villa Feliz that I hope you'll be excited about as much as I am in the coming months. Anyway, if you enjoyed today's episode, please give me a thumbs up. Please share, and if you have not subscribed, just click on the little MyPI Dream heart in the bottom right hand side of your screen. You'll be subscribed, and if you ring that bell, you'll be notified the next time I upload a new video. So until such time, from right here in the beautiful, beautiful Philippines, you have a wonderful and blessed day. If you enjoyed today's episode and you would like to see more just like these, just click on one of the helpful links over to your right, and you might be able to pick up on some good information on DIY projects, how to, or if you are interested in moving to the Philippines and building, you'll find answers there as well.